Okay, something about this lighting is kind of weird. Like, seriously, it looks like you can sort of barely see, like, my eyes. It's like, I'm not even trying to look scary. Like, seriously, I have no idea, like, what the problem is or anything. Just, like, I have no idea. Like this one, okay, you can sort of see a little better. Hold on. Okay, just got, okay, never mind. All I had to do is just hold it like this. From here, it looks like I'm holding like a shadow. Like here, okay, yeah, okay, this works. Okay, so yeah, a little bit later of a start than what I would like to this morning. Just last night, I made the horrible mistake of not cleaning up my apartment before I went to bed, and so I paid the ultimate price this morning. I had to do it all this morning. It's actually not really that bad. I mean, I do like cleaning my own place. I like coming home to a place that's, clean, nothing bad going on, anything like that. So, I'm cool with it. I mean, don't get me wrong, I was just feeling so lazy last night. I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna go to bed. I don't even care anymore. Well, which actually really I do care. Just I wanted to make sure I didn't do anything too silly or crazy or whatever. So yes, good morning, happy Hump Day, everybody. Yes, it is Hump Day. I'm excited that it's Hump Day. We're basically halfway through the week. It is awesome. And before I forget, for the first time in quite a while, I think the Hot Ones guest is someone who I have no idea who it is. It's Noel Gallagher. I'm probably going to get yelled at for not knowing who he is. But seriously, I'd never heard that name before. Again, usually if it's a Hot Ones guest, I don't know who they are. It's either someone in the hip hop community or just some random celebrity or whatever, but I had never heard of Noel Gallagher, ever. All I know is that apparently he's a singer or something. Although I'm going to learn, thankfully I am going to be learning more about him, tomorrow because, again, that's actually the beautiful thing about Hot Ones that I don't think enough people give it credit for. It's that if they are interviewing a celebrity that you don't really know, Hot Ones is actually a great way of sort of learning more about them. And that's cool. I like that. I mean, some you could probably tell right away as to, who, I mean, here's a good example of this. Like Ashton Kutcher, who was, last week's guest. Lots of people associate him with, being the pretty boy from that 70s show, being, sort of having a sort of way of knowing businesses and stuff like that. But I actually learned more about him and because of Hot Ones, and he's really cool. I mean, I never disliked Ashton Kutcher at all by any stretch of the imagination. But now I have a deeper respect for him because I learned about him more, and that's awesome. Plus, anyone who can handle himself in the wings of death, that takes some big props as well, and that is really cool. So the fact that we are in in the month of October, Halloween, we are in that sort of area where, we're constantly going to hear stuff about, people getting pumpkin spice and cider, even more so than we did back in September. Personally, I never get tired of the stuff, so, I say keep on coming. But I can definitely, to be honest, my cousin's husband's already tired of the stuff. He already wanted to be sort of apples and I guess to a lesser extent cranberries and stuff like that. But nope. I mean, October is just becoming, this is the month of the pumpkin. Even before the whole, even if you were to take Halloween out of the equation, whenever I think of October, Pumpkins are the fruit that I would associate the month of October with. Yes, pumpkins are a fruit. Okay? Pumpkins and, squashes and gourds, they're all fruits. Okay? In fact, the pumpkin actually holds the Guinness World Record for being the largest fruit. So, that's really cool. In case any of you guys were wondering, the world's largest vegetable, I believe, was a yam. Not the orange sweet potato one, okay? A yam is actually looks like a regular potato, only it's classified as a yam, okay? Sweet potatoes are orange, yams are yellow. Yam, yellow. They both begin with the letter Y. Hey, that works. So, yeah, where was I? Oh, yeah. Again, when I think of the month of October, I immediately think of, pumpkin so much so that if I were to spell out like the word October, October, the capital O would probably be in the shape of a pumpkin. And the little o would also probably be in the shape of a pumpkin. So, yeah, that works. Interesting. I mean, not that this isn't common knowledge, but for those of you guys who don't know, there actually only used to be 10 months in the year. But because of Caesar Augustus and Julius Caesar, we added July and August. So now, October, because Oct means 8. So, October was originally the 8th month of the year. But now it's the 10th month of the year, which, I sort of get the confusion. I can see why it would probably turn off some people. But honestly, when I first learned, the months of the year in kindergarten, I immediately I didn't even think much of it at the time. But, it makes sense. Oct means 8. Nov for November, usually referred to as 9. December, 10. That's how it works. But honestly, I'm glad that October, November, December months 10, 11, and 12. I'm glad. Anymore, 12 I think is a good number for months of the year, I feel. It is. Well, to be honest, 12 is a great number in general for lots of reasons. 12 months a year, 12 inches in a foot. You probably 12 in a dozen. I'm sure there's others, but those are the big ones. But 12 is a good number. It is. So yeah. Again, there's lots of other reasons why 12 is a good number, but it's that's what I feel. And this is a numbers day, I guess. I don't know. Although, if you want to know something really interesting about numbers, is that one of my brothers at Trinity Pauling, he played football, basketball, and baseball. So he did the big three essentially. And no kidding, his uniform numbers or jersey numbers, whatever you want to call them, for all three sports were 3, 2, 1 respectively. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, number 3 for football, number 2 for basketball, and number 1 for baseball. What can I say? I guess throughout the year he worked his way up to number 1. Well, he's a really cool guy, and one of the best friends I had at Trinity Pauling. So he's number 1 in my book. Then again, lots of people are number 1 in my book. So maybe I'm not really the greatest barometer for that sort of thing. But I'm glad I'm at least able to voice my opinion. Because whenever I say someone's the GOAT or someone is awesome, know that I really do try and add sincerity to it, because I really do try and come from a good place, a warm place, a happy place when I say stuff like that. So here's an example. Just the other day, one of my brothers was actually remembering the passing of their father, and I messaged him that he was the GOAT, which you know, in his own right, he most likely was. You know, you can be. I mean, you can be the great. I mean, in a way, you can be the GOAT and still just be a good guy. I mean, that's I try. I mean, I genuinely try and just be a nice person all the time. I do. You know, I try and stay quiet. You know, I don't really say much. And admittedly, this is like, folks, this is my straight face. For the most part, that's my straight face, right? For whatever reason, people like to assume like there's something wrong with me or I'm like feeling sad. I'm like, that's just my straight face. And if I'm not saying anything, it's just I have nothing to say. You know, you can enter a room, just stand there, you know, doing whatever you have to do if you have to, and not say a word, and that'd be fine. You know, that's okay. But I get that some people don't really care for that, so I do try and be a little bit better about that. Although, one thing I do like to do with people is I like to mess with them by whenever they tell me like smile or anything, they're like, hey Nick, why don't you smile? This is what I do. It lets them know that I obviously still do have a sense. At the very least, they should know that I do have a sense of humor. It's just relatively, you know, kind of on the messed up side, I suppose. So, yeah, that's just how I do. It's how I roll. It's how I get my groove on, I suppose. So, yeah. Don't really have much else. You know, I gotta prepare for my 10-year Trinity Poly reunion this weekend. Probably gonna start getting some stuff ready today. Would like to do that. Don't really know what the plan is for when specifically. I would like to be there early, but when specifically, I don't really know. But you guys will definitely know that this weekend, if I'm not in my usual apartment, you guys know exactly where, you know, I'm going to be. Although, this weekend should be fun. I mean, I really don't know what this week, because this weekend is actually supposed to be on the cold side for once. Yeah, I think it's supposed to be like a high of 50 on Friday and like in the low 30s on on Saturday and Sunday or whatever. So it should be pretty interesting. Then again, considering it's always like that the first week in October. I mean, first time I ran the Wine Glass Marathon, it was the first weekend in October, and I remember getting up at 3:30 in the morning for that because I wanted to make sure I was awake for 3 hours prior to race time. And, you know, I remember just looking at the temperature, it's like 32 degrees out. I'm like, oh no. And it was cold. Not to the point where I found it unbearable, but I still found it to be, you know, pretty cold. So cold, in fact, that, you know, I didn't feel hot or sweaty at all throughout the entirety of that race I ran. It was so incredibly cold that when I entered an area or a patch of like sky, there were like no clouds or anything, and the sun was just beating down on me. The sun actually felt refreshing and warm. Like, it was unbelievable. There were times I didn't even notice myself like sweating or whatever. So, yeah. The Wine Glass Marathon is this weekend, which now I actually am kind of glad I'm not running it because, you know, I ran it 4 times. I'm good. Maybe years from now, if I want to do something that crazy, you know, maybe I will. But for now, I'm just good just doing what I'm doing. I'm cool with it. Anyway, I should probably wrap this up before I get late on my day. So, like, favorite, share, hit that subscribe button, turn the notifications on YouTube. You know, follow me on the social media platforms. I am very humbled that I made this video for all of you guys to watch and enjoy for today. I am most hopeful that we have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful hump day. You know, I think it's gonna be a good hump day. And remember, if any of you guys ever want to talk or chat, I'm always going to be here lend an ear, and I'll always have your back. Take care, and of course, make good choices. See ya.